Hello and welcome to IBM TV. We just had a wonderful show with Brendan, Travel with Brendan. I just love it. He gives us a lot of these really cool hacks. Now we're going to do Celebrity Tuesdays, and backstage I have my friend Ankit. Hi, Ankit.
Hi, how are you?
Wow, I'm ready to travel. Brandon's intro just energizes me and reminds me of how much fun I always had traveling. As much as there are troubles that come with travel, there's always that wonderful memory of the journey, right? And so, I'm glad that Brandon is sharing all this with us, but I'm ready to go. What about you?
I'm ready to go, and my go-to line is that when you are in doubt, go to travel because travel gives you a lot of strength, a lot of power. You get a lot of time. It's kind of a meditation. You learn a lot. You talk to a lot of people, and it's like a different world, and you are away from what you are doing. So it's kind of a stress buster. But traveling is something which is amazing, and I love to travel. And I also have a lot of travel hacks. I discuss with Brandon and other people as well. I mean, and you learn a lot of things. I mean, while traveling because you learn culture, heritage. You learn how the people, live their own life because we think that this is what the life is, what we are living in India. But when you go to other countries, you will be amazed that people have different ways to live, and that's something amazing, and that's what travel all about. Uh,
Ankit, I got a secret.
yes, what
Brandon's in the house and it's Celebrity Tuesday. Can we beam him in?
Sure. Why
Can
not?
we beam him in and talk to him? Hi, Brandon. Hello.
Hi, I don't think I'm a celebrity, but thank you. I'll take it.
You are
I'll
on
take it.
TV. You are definitely a celebrity.
Oh, thank you. That's very cool.
So I am so into that T-shirt and the
Oh,
pillow.
thank you. Yes.
And
I like-
also,
the bag is my favorite. I was surprised. It was pretty pretty.
I want to get masks with that on my masks. So I want that.
tried that, but it's hard to screen print on masks.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
But you know
Brandon,
what?
you have one more fan waiting for you backstage, so I'll invite Mark Lee on the show.
Mark Lee.
Oh, hi,
Hey.
Mark.
Great job, Brandon.
Hello.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
And also, we have a special guest from LA, Michelle, joining us. And
Michelle was another celebrity, and not because of my TV, she's a celebrity because of Henny Morales and out there. Oh, and because of herself, right? But she brings with her the Henny Morales and Rev Chair program, which we're very proud and honored to be a part. Hello, Michelle.
Hey, good morning or good
You look
afternoon.
beautiful. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Your face is always so clean. Oh my gosh, I am so jealous.
Thank you. It's all about being professional, but it's really exciting to be here. Thank you so much. And you guys were talking about travel. I love traveling. I missed that. So I'll have to chime in onto the travel show next time.
Sounds like a plan. You're invited anytime.
Yeah.
That's right.
we have a star of the show, Henny Morales, backstage, and I'll.
Henny's backstage. Oh, he's. Hi.
Wow, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh my goodness. Look at all these wonderful smiling people.
I know. There's a lot to smile about. We just traveled with Brendan, and we learned hacks on how to travel inexpensively. So that's always
All right.
yeah.
I'll tell you a story about how to travel inexpensively. You want to hear one?
Yes.
East Coast and West Coast, we have to balance people around. So we have Jim made balancing them all. So Jim from California.
It's the balancing act. All right.
Well, so Henny, share with us how to travel inexpensively.
Well, back in the day, when you're first starting out, you always have to save money, cut corners, figure out how to do things. I was in my 20s. I was just learning how to travel and how to speak. I basically would follow all my favorite speakers around the country, around the world, really, and learn how they did it and try to be like them until finally I became totally successful and I became like them. But in the early days, you would do whatever it takes. So, the big shot speakers were, staying at the Ritz-Carlton type hotels, and I would have to go and stay. I'm sure this is not what Brendan's course is about, by the way. But I would go and stay at the cheapest hotel I could find, or bunk up with like 5 or 6 people in like a one room, right? Because you're in your 20s, you're used to being in like a dorm room, right? Doesn't matter. Youth hostels, right? But I would always hang out at the Ritz-Carlton type hotel. That's where I hung out. And every once in a while, it would get late, and I would be hanging out at the hotel, and I had nice suits, right? I had nice suits, hanging around the hotel with all my mentors and everything. And eventually, sometimes I would get tired. I go out by the pool, and then just like doze off, and then next thing you know, it's morning time, and it cost me like $30, and I was at a $500 resort, and I stayed overnight.
You slept at the Ritz.
Literally slept at the Ritz for sure.
You gotta do it, man.
That was a brilliant story. I love it.
I love that story.
Because we all did that. But I love how you talked about how you dressed up in a suit, because that gets you noticed when you go to those places, right?
My mentors told me, if you watch Rebelistic, you'll see there's a scene where Jim Rich, I should say, is mentoring Spencer, which is supposed to be the character based on me. And he's telling him about all the things that he needs to do to be a successful guy. He's talking about clothes. Clothes need to be Italian. And here, it's better to have one good suit than 10 cheap ones. Let me explain why. And food needs to be French, and cars need to be German. And there's a whole thing that you learn when you're in this world, like this materialistic world of pure, like unadulterated capitalism and just stuff, that you learn all these things. So yeah, it's better to have probably 1 or 2 really, really good suits versus many cheap ones, And like, as Rich says, you take the cheap ones to the cleaners and they shine at the first go, they start shining. When you start shining, it's time to, get rid of that.
You want your shoes shine, not your suits to shine.
You want your shoes shine. I would always get the shoe shine, and you got to look the part. But they didn't know I was staying at the Fleabag Hotel across town. They didn't know that.
And trim the hair. Make sure it's trimmed around the ears and on the neck. And always get that fresh barber look, because. Yeah. And, something else I learned in my journey, and I knew a few men who knew this, and I don't know if you do this, but they would get their nails, truly, they would go to a manicurist. I got manicure.
I was at a manicure twice a week, every week.
Yep. They would, and
no because pictures, though. Hands, I didn't touch my feet.
Right. But you're not looking at your feet because you got your shoes shine. But, you're not wearing flip-flops. But I was told that the men would look at the other men's hands to see if they had a well manicured hand. That told a lot about the person, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. So I did not grow. I grew up in some cases around a lot of mechanics, race car drivers. They didn't think about manicures, but but that has a lot to be said about the polished look, right? You take that time.
Again, here's the and this goes back to mentoring, and all kind of joking around aside. This goes back to mentoring and coaching people. You want to set a good example, and there are things that you can control, and things that you can do to present yourself in a certain way that don't cost a lot of money. That you can do within a budget, and then when you do start making the money, then you start to show a little bit of success. And if you're doing any type of sales training or any type of business coaching, there are obviously many areas of our lives that we need to focus in on, and financial is one of them. And if you can show a successful financial image as an example, then people have something to strive for. And also, it shows respect. It shows respect for the environment, respect for the meeting. If you show up at a meeting polished, like you said, with your tie tight and your shirt pressed and your watch just right and your hair just right, and you're going in there with a sense of like, hey, you prepared for this meeting. You show respect for the meeting, and that's why when you go to the court, you show respect to the judge, respect to the bench, and that will give you probably a better shot at winning over the people who are hosting that meeting than if you show up with flip-flops and a day beard and a big Kahuna T-shirt. That's
You're very right about that, Henny, but I've got to counter you on one little thing that you said and everything, because usually you're absolutely right, and I definitely agree that you got to go in with that business look and everything. But I used to go every 2 years, down to the National Black Theater Festival, which is held down in Winston-Salem. Henny, you've heard me mention that before and everything, but I've had the pleasure of sitting down with folks like Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and a number of other great celebrities. And one of the things that folks will come up to me afterwards and they'll be like, Mark, you were talking to such and such celebrity. How were you able to just manage to get in that conversation with them? And it was through contacts of mine that I had, some folks that already knew some of these great leaders in the entertainment community. And a lot of times they were just wanting to be engaged with you on these business deals, whatever the business deal might be. So the fact that you were able to come in there and engage them in conversation, talk to them on their level, definitely serve them and give them respect and everything is what they wanted. But they didn't like to have a lot of people that are doing that kind of celebrity stargazing and things of that nature. They thought of you as wanting to be a peer of theirs. So if you come at them as a peer, they will treat you as a peer. So like I said, I know a lot of times I would then run into friends of mine because I was living in Winston-Salem at the time, and they'd be like, Mark, how did you manage to meet these folks or talk to them? And I said, look, they are just like anybody else. They have to do the same thing that you have to do. Just like Brandy was talking about on those trips, they have the same headaches on those plane trips. They have to, get up in the morning and do the shower and everything else, just like anybody else does. So I think that when you treat these celebrities as normal people, they respect that. So I was just going to add that's what I've observed from talking to a lot of celebrities, that they like to be treated as normal citizens. And if you've got a business deal and you want to talk to them about a business deal, they want you to come at them in that approach. They don't want you to try to sidestep them or basically, I'm going to use an expression that a lot of folks have heard in the past, but they don't want you to blow smoke up their backside. They want to have you actually treat them as business peers. So that's just something I wanted to add to what you were saying, because I definitely agree with a lot of the ways that you go in terms of handling folks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, see, Mark, we don't have that much experience here in the Research Triangle Park, as we well know from many of the meetings. There's nobody famous who lives in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. They all live in a 10-block hiatus of where Henning Morales lives, or Los Angeles, California. So if you want to meet famous people, you go over there. If you want to meet normal folk, you stay here. Okay? And I'm sorry, Mark, they're not. Those people are weird. I've been over to LA. They're all bloody weird. They're all these they're extroverts on steroids. I have no reason to want to hang out with them. If they want to hang out with each other and say how good they're, that's great. Let them stay here. I'll stay in Raleigh-Durham.
Oh, Kimberly's got the LA look. You're the celebrity
baby.
over there.
We're with the real people.
Baby. There's some famous people here.
Movie star. Wow.
In the South, we've never been people in the South throughout.
Hey, Mark, stay in the South. We're with the real people. They're all fake. They're all fake. Fake.
Brandon, you can see why I fell in love with her.
I like that you just had that ready. You just
Yeah, she was ready to go.
Costumes in case.
Yeah. This is
at a moment's notice.
He has.
At a moment's notice, she was ready.
I'm ready to travel.
You're ready for a brunch
and
Ava Gardner.
You about something else as well, which is that when I was going and dealing with travel, and it was in the 80s and everything, Nick is right about one thing. The airports used to be very quaint around here. We don't have quaint airports anymore. We're now an international airport. But I literally remember going to school in the 80s and going to Marquette, so leaving from North Carolina to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I would literally have to leave from the platform and walk to the plane. That's how quaint we were. So literally, you were walking to the plane and things of that nature. There was no gates where you were actually having the plane come to you. You were walking to the plane. So that's how it was in the 80s. So I remember that very vividly.
It's still like that at some airports. I've some airports into you kind of drive up to the airport and it's just a guy at a rollium, and then you walk up onto the plane. So they're still out there. Not in the States so much, but they're out there.
So I'm talking about Henning Morales' movies coming out. But Henning, are you aware that the movie theaters are getting ready to open again?
Well, yeah, the theaters are getting ready to open, and I really, I think that you all know how I feel about the situation at large, the great insanity of 2020. If you're not up to speed on that side of our world, just take a look at America Health Yeah Part 1 and 2, and we'll tell you all about being healthy and what it means to really be American, be free. And we are in a very fascinating time right now. The theaters are opening, as you said, which is good. But I'm not going to stop my how should I say, my expose of science, an expose of the truth, an expose of just logic and reason until we're all back to our normal lives, without masks, without social distancing, without ridiculousness. Okay, there is no reason for us to be in this state. I mean, we're coming out of it. I know this is a positive question, but it should be, all these restrictions and all these mandates. Why? There's no good reason at all. More people have died of suicide than have died of COVID in this country. Healthy people.
And that's one of your missions was.
So many times more people have died of heart disease and cancer than have died of COVID in this country. I don't like those masks at all. I just don't. It's just bad. It's bad. So and it's bad for lots of reasons. It's not just bad because the government's forcing it onto us, and I can't go shop at the store that I want to go shop at. It's bad because it suffocates you. It keeps the bad inside. It doesn't let the bad expose. For hundreds of thousands, millions of years, we've been evolving to a certain point with our breathing and the way that we interact with each other. And you don't put a stop to that. You can't put a stop to what we have normally been doing. I'm very concerned about kids, as you know, health, mental health issues with kids. I told everyone, I shout from the rooftops that if my kids are not back in school, in fall, I am going to lose it. I am going to flip out. I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go training day on somebody. Right? That's what I said back then. Now I'm very proud of myself that I haven't done that. Now, my kids are in the other two rooms here. Right? They're not in school, and it's not good. Now, for me personally, excuse me. For me personally, it doesn't really. It doesn't affect me or my family as much because we are conscious. We understand. We know how to spend more time with the kids. We know how to give them computers. We know how to get them online. We're on top of it. I'm home. I'm in my home studio right now, and I'm home, and I'm vigilant of what they're doing. And their mom is the same way when they're over there. We have extra coaching. We have extra. We're in a fine school district. We don't have the issues. My concern is not personal. My concern is not for my family. My concern is not for my close proximity. Even people like us who were on these sessions, we're positive, empowered people. I'm not concerned about us. I'm concerned about the people who don't have those tools, don't have those access to those mechanisms, and we all need to pull together to mentor and to help these people come through this dark time, which is going to end. This too shall pass. Reality and positivity and common sense and science will prevail if we all keep communicating. If we stop communicating it, then it won't happen. So I'm happy about the theaters. I know that wasn't the question. I'm happy about the theaters.
I'm glad that
we're going in the right direction. But I'm still very concerned about the controls and about the illogical that's taking place in not only this country but the world, but especially here at home. We just Kimberly, we just filmed our first 3 days of Ann Hero, which has been, for me, this is like a dream come true. And it ties in exactly what I just shared with you. It's the mental health that's going on with our kids. Part of the challenge that's happening right now, this is so serious. We all need to just think about how this affects us, how this affects our country. These kids, the rise of teen suicide. Teen suicide was not a thing when we were kids and growing up. It wasn't something, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't something we really thought about, right? I don't remember anybody talking about committing suicide when I was a teenager, and I have a very good memory of those things. And I always go back in my memory bank and try to think, was there anybody in a group of my friends that was in that state? Nobody did. Even the worst juvenile delinquents, like me, never thought of that, right? and this is serious because the rise in the teen suicide rate corresponds very, very closely to the popularity and rise of Facebook. Okay, if you look at the years 2006, 2007, 2008, when Facebook was coming up, suicide for teenagers started going like this. Now, do I blame Facebook for this? No, of course not. But it's the social media impact on our lives, and it's the increased access to electronics. And by closing schools, what you're doing is you are forcing kids to more electronics, staring at a screen, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So being able to create a film that has suicide as the main subject line, man, that is difficult to do. But I had to do it because I got around all these people who were mentors and coaches dealing with teenagers, and I realized that this was something that was happening, and I couldn't believe it. I said, "This has got to be. This is unfathomable, right? Unfathomable." And so when I actually talk to parents, oh my God, you want to talk about heartbreak? You want to talk about devastation? Talk to a parent who's lost a kid from suicide. Oh my God, that's like it's too much.
It's going to bring tears to my eyes.
It does, and you can't. And so what I said was, well, we got to do something, right? So let's make a movie. Let's make it positive, but let's include the research that I've done in terms of what these kids say to each other, how the process happens, what's the neglect that's happening in their lives, what's missing, what's causing this shift in the psyche of a teenager. And when I did that, I immediately thought to a chapter I wrote in my first novel and create a screenplay. And I talked to some of my colleagues, and it wasn't that they were not happy about doing it. It was just something that for some reason it's just harder to get something like that done because it's such a difficult topic to even deal with, right? So after 2 years, finally we started shooting this weekend. Michelle, can you pull up, or do we have? I can pull it up the slideshow. I want to show this to you guys. Do you have it, Ankit?
I don't have it.
Michelle can have access, or if she wants to send Ankit the link, we can do it.
Why don't you send Ankit the link?
Can I touch on something that
Michelle, can you send Ankit the link in the meantime?
Because you're talking about something.
Oh no, the link to you have it. Hold on, I'll send it to you.
You can share it. You can share it, and then I'll put it on live stream.
I'm gonna send you right now by email. Okay, go ahead, Kimberly.
Okay, so one of the things you brought up is about the children not being in school. And one of my biggest concerns, like you said, a lot of depression, a lot of confusion, but no exercise. I have to ask myself, how many children are not getting a standard daily dose of exercise? This is concerning to me because our country is known to be extremely obese as it is. I'm sure other countries suffer and struggle with this. But like you said, they're going to be staring at a screen all day, TV all day, locked in the house. There is no exercise whatsoever. And today, because I go out because the 2 schools are shut down the next door to me. I have 2 schools. And so I go out and utilize their resources every day. Nobody's there, right? And so I've asked myself today, how can we get the children up and doing even a 10-minute up and down, jumping jacks, run in place, push-ups, squats, just something to get their heart going, even twice a day. And that's maybe something maybe you and I can work with, because we both are worried about the children. But I asked myself, does online school have this? Or is online school make the kids jumping up and down and work for 10 minutes?
No. And
Thank you.
Well, here's what we can do. Again, it's a frustrating topic because there's no reason. There's no good reason. Can anybody? You're all intelligent people. Can anyone give me a good reason why schools are not open?
Well, our schools opened and they ended up they reached a capacity of COVID, so they had to start.
Yeah, but COVID is not affecting kids.
COVID has been affecting the.
No. This is where you cannot. You look at the science. Listen.
The latest news is science, and the latest news says kids do get it.
Guys.
All right.
But they're taking
There have been
them
5 million. Look at the facts. Go to Google right now and Google this.
And we
There have been
do.
5 million cases of COVID in the United States. 5 million. Less than 300,000 deaths out of 5 million cases.
right.
Google it. That's the science. Out of 300,000.
Okay.
Hold
Okay,
on.
Henry, let's move on to a different subject because I
Out of
don't want to get
300,000, less than 20% were not already sick. Those are facts. That's science. So you're
Right.
talking about an absolute minuscule percentage, and the percentage of those people who are children it's so small that to close schools is not a logical decision. It's hurting too many people, and there's absolutely no science that backs it up. There's no science that backs it up.
I just disagree.
This is a story.
I disagree.
This is a story about suicidal kids, about a suicidal
That's a different story. Let's talk about that
and
one.
that's my concern. This is
That's
my
our
concern is the mental health of these kids. It's
Yes.
not COVID. The comparison between COVID and mental disease in kids, COVID is way, way, way down. Okay, the obesity issue in kids that Kimberly just talked about, the addiction to social media, the addiction to video games, the addiction to violence on television. Those are the issues that we should be talking about with kids, not COVID. Just because the COVID rate has risen, it doesn't mean we need to close schools. That's an illogical response, and it's too much damage. This country will not be the same unless we speak out and we use science as our determining factor, not opinions and not COVID rates.
And
Yeah, and get doctors on the show to tell us the science, Henning.
common sense, and this is something, Henning, a lot of people just don't have the common sense. They don't have the common sense if they're sick to stay home. They don't have a lot of people don't, and that's the reason why there's been such an opposition. If we could impair it and just put into people's minds a little bit of common sense, then schools could open. But Senator Helms told me one time the reason why he's got to take control of this state and make the rules the way he does is because people lack the common sense to do the right thing. And I argued with him. I argued to the end of the world with him. You have no idea. That's probably why I get audited all the time. But he did. He said, Kim, he goes, the people are just too stupid. This is what he told me. Especially in North Carolina, the people are just too stupid. They don't know well enough.
Communism's whole philosophy was that people are too dumb and stupid to know what to do with themselves, so the government needs to take over.
That's what he did. But I agree that
listen. Sick people should stay home. Sick people who are contagious should stay home and not be around the rest of us. Kids and teachers in schools are not the ones being affected by this. So schools should be open. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Henning, can I jump in here real quickly? Like I said, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I can understand some of your viewpoint and everything. But we also have to look at the age of the teachers. The teachers are usually much older, and they're usually in that age range that is impacted. So I know a number of teachers that do not want to go back to the school system for exactly that reason, that they are in the part of society that is being impacted. Maybe we need to get some younger teachers, but the teachers that we have now are usually in that age range that is targeted.
Now, this is an intelligent response, an intelligent conversation to have. How about looking at the teachers and seeing who's healthy, who's in the risk group, who isn't in the risk group? I understand that, but that doesn't mean closing schools. But my question wasn't, should we have a discussion about it? My question was, why are schools closed? The damage, you guys got to research the damage. Just do research the damage that can take. Unbelievable. It's too much.
I think I'll tell you one thing.
Nobody looks for a solution. Nobody looks for a solution.
Thank you. That's something you want to say?
All these views are from US. I will share my views, which is from India. And the views that we are concerned about our kids because no one knows that if something happened to kids, like maybe they're COVID positive, what will happen to their future life, because COVID can cause a lot of things which we are not aware about. And to make sure that if once we got the research done, then we are ready to share our kids go to school. That's the news from India, because we're concerned that it might affect someone else in future as well. It's not just COVID, but COVID can cause something else in your body, and that could be more damaging. And that is the concern. And also, we created some kind of a some experiment with a bio bubble in India in regards to one of our sports of cricket. And then we realized that when people were in the bio bubble for 1 month, still they got COVID. So that means there is something which is not happening, and we are working and researching it out. But I definitely agree, if we can work out that healthy people and not healthy people, and we can bifurcate them, and then try to create some kind of cluster and make sure that education will go on the way it should be. I think that should be a perfect reply. But I think there are a lot of things going on, and that's why we don't have any answers as of now.
Yeah, and listen, each country is dealing with this differently, and I like to focus on the U.S. because I don't really know how the culture is and how people's viewpoints are in these other countries, and that's why I like to stay in this country. And all of these conversations are valid. We really don't know the long-term effect on these things, but there are a lot of things that we don't know. And again, my main question here, okay? If we're so concerned with the health of our children, if we're so concerned, if that's really the issue, then why are we feeding kids foods that are carcinogenic?
Thank you.
They're on the school lunch? They're on the school lunch program. I've been on every online class with these kids. I have kids. So I have kids in college and I have kids in elementary school. So not only do I know the science, I know the effect of what's going on. They don't talk about exercise at all, ever on these classes. Okay. Third of all, if we're so concerned about the health of kids, then why are we just talking about COVID? Because the effect is so small, and the future effect on future generations, we don't know, but we don't know a lot of things. So it's not that we shouldn't be concerned about a condition and a disease and a virus. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying that the end result, closing schools, is a disaster. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible idea on many levels, because what you're doing is you're taking one issue, and you're this one issue that's like this, and you're taking all these other issues and you're making this one issue trump everything else. And the psychological damage on children, you got to do the research. Okay, kids who are special needs kids, who need teachers, they need live teachers, they're going crazy, they're losing their minds. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And if you can't give a good reason, then you must go to the greed factor. Or is somebody in this to make money on the masks? Are they in this to make money on the remedy or the solution or the cure, the injection, whatever it is? Is that what's driving this? Because if it is, then we need to just say no, like no to the greed factor, and yes to the health and the well-being of our children. Okay, so I think I've got this pulled up here, Ankit. I think I can share my screen. Do you have it ready?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, why don't you share it? I had a different. I'm not quite sure I have the right link because I'm on RevShare. But if you want to do it, go ahead.
Okay, I think I've got it here. Hold on.
Because you know how, Henning.
Entire screen. I think I know how. Hold on.
Go to application window if not entire screen.
I'll do it. I'm just going to close some windows here. Make sure I don't pull up the wrong one. Hold on.
Yeah.
And so this film shoot, again, when people see this movie and see what the conversations that teenagers have with each other, and the solution is mentorship, it's coaching, it's being around other positive people, it's setting a good example, it's all these things. And all of these things relate to personal interaction and mentors and coaches getting involved directly with these kids. And that's where, again, everything that I've learned, guys, everything that I've learned about the mental health of children, teenagers, young adults, everything that I've learned over the past 5 years in studying this, like full bore studying it, just the science just tells me one thing. It tells me one thing. And that's where I'm coming from. So let me do this. I think I've shared screen. Okay, good. I'm sharing. And now it says Chrome tab, application window. Okay. And let's see here. I think I'm on Streamline here. Streamline, okay. So I'm sharing this, and then I should be able to share this. You guys see my screen now or no?
Yeah, let's make it bigger. There we go.
There you go.
I'll make it bigger. Now, I want you to see the happy faces of these teenagers who are on our set making this really cool movie. Check it out.
I know you from us in the storm. I'll be up when you can't do it anymore. When you have nowhere to go, I'll pick you up and hold you close. I'll be your strength, be your escape, your face that's gone wrong. Take you away, be your safe place. When we're fighting the unknown, I can be your guarantee. Everything you'll ever need, let me be your remedy. This life is hard, I know it weighs you down. But you said with me, I'll never let you drown. This life is hard, I know it weighs you down. But you're safe with me, I'll never let you drown. I'll be your strength, be your escape, you'll never face this alone. Take you away, be your safe place. When we're fighting in the unknown, I can be your guarantee. Everything you'll ever need, let me be your remedy.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Very powerful.
That
Definitely,
is
great seeing that.
one. The music you bring is makes me it moves me. The music you have is always awesome.
Well, that song was written and performed by Dina DiGiorgio, who is one of our actors, and also she provided the one of Drew's music artists. She provided the sequence song for the film Street Chase. And she's 23, 24. She's a musical prodigy. She's on our team. She's with us all the time, hanging out, doing stuff with us. She's gonna be a big star. And she wrote that specifically for this movie.
She is a star. She just, people haven't seen her yet. So you got her named. You got her being seen and exposed. So now it's time for people to see her. She's beautiful too. So as well as her music. So no, this is awesome. This is sometimes the stars are there. It's just getting them seen, right?
Yeah. Well, there's so much great talent, and so many. If you listen to the lyrics of these songs, they're just it takes a certain level of intelligence, and it's true. There's talent out there. We just need to bring the talent to the forefront. We need to continue to encourage people to create, continue to encourage young people to continue to live their lives and to be the best that they can be. And this movie you saw in this slideshow, our lead is 17. And he's a boxer. He's a boxing protege, Justice Barrios, and he also is is training for the Olympics and the Golden Gloves. And so again, the talent that he has as an actor is only part of what we have here. We have a future Olympian who is the lead in this movie. And when I met with his parents a year ago to talk to him about this role, he had never acted before. And he was in acting classes. He'd never done anything. And there was something about him. There was something about his parents. He read and he auditioned. And then we had to give him acting classes. He read again. We gave him more acting classes. He read again. And finally, I had him read for everyone else. And there was something about it that I just wanted him there. I wanted him to do because he believed so much in the role, and his parents were so into it. And so I just, we worked it out, and he nailed this role like you wouldn't believe. And because he's an athlete, the physical roles that he had to do, you saw him running up and down hills, you saw him running down streets, and the running that has to happen, and the physical, putting yourself in certain situations in the movie, and being able to fall and trip and not hurt himself, all those things, it makes for a really powerful movie. So we're going to shoot 2 more days, and we are going to shoot in September twice, and we're having a screening also of Hit or Twist, Kimberly, coming up that we're finishing, and just so many great things happening. And it's been a pleasure to be on this set, and we're going to show you guys. Thank you. We're going to show you guys behind the scenes videos. Also, probably next week we'll be ready to show those and what happens on set. And this was insane. We had police cars and police chases, and we were at airports. We were talking about airports earlier. We were inside 2 private jets, one 727, one G3. We had run of the airport in Chino Airport in California. And it's a testament to our tribe and the mentors who are really passionate about bringing these stories out and want to make a difference in these kids' lives. And that's what it's all about. There isn't any other motive here than to help lots of kids and entertain lots of people, get this message out to lots of people, lots of kids. And I dominated the whole time. But Michelle, any comments or concerns on your anything we shared here? Anything you want to talk about? On Michelle is one of our producers and our co-founder of RevShare Films, and all around great and wonderful person. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, there's just really 2 comments. One, the first one is I just love, as you said, Kimberly, the opportunity that Henny and RevShare Films, actually Dirt Merchant Films, gives these young, talented artists, a platform where they can be heard, where they can be seen. And that's what I really love. That's what attracted me to this platform, because I remember when I was young, so just giving them a chance, and they are incredible. And then the second is, talking, just really taking entertainment, taking a very serious subject matter, depression and suicide, prevention, and just, creating an empowerment. And so that's what we do. We create stories through film that are transformed, right? So, I don't want to, steal the story, but, really, how do you tell a story, a really difficult, dark story? And Henny does a miraculous job with really, with film, with the music, which is, I say, it's just, you can feel it in your soul, your DNA, and, desire to really have a youth, stop and pause and think about, really, life. It's really sad that, suicide is up. And, it's just really creating a platform so that youth can be heard and seen.
No, and I'm glad that you mentioned some of these things. And RevShare is putting together some amazing ways not to just inspire the young people with the opportunities that they wouldn't have in most other places, a safe opportunity. Because we had a guest last week post, there are so many kids going out to California and they're ending up in the wrong hands. And I will say this, you end up in Henning's hands, it's not the wrong hands. I'm just saying, because he is so much fun on the set. He loves the teens. He loves everyone, even the old people like me and Jeff. I don't think Jeff's older than me, but I see him everywhere. So, but here's the thing, it is dangerous out there. All right. So be smart. And this is a conversation I want us to have one day, is how the young people can go out there and smartly find good directors like Henning, because Henning's not going to be able to do every movie and every show yet. Although I think he's going to prove me wrong here. But because anytime you tell Henning he can't do something, I think it just goes out and does it.
If it's worthwhile to be done. Here's some mentorship and some counsel for young people coming out, breaking into the entertainment world, and parents or coaches that are helping them. And again, there's always the dark side of the human condition that we need to look out for always. But we're positive people, and we like to look at the positive side of things. But when it's time to look at a problem and look at an issue, you got to look at it with all objectivity, and also with some tools and some strategies. And first of all, if you're breaking into acting, find a good acting school. That's really a first step. Find a good school. When I'm dealing with these young actors, and I've coached now, I think at least like 60 or 70 young actors in these movies. It's absolutely nuts. And we get on Zoom sessions, and Jeff helps out. Jeff's an actor and Jeff's a producer. And I have other friends of mine who are mentors of mine that come and they help these actors to get where they're going. But the first thing we tell them is they need to get into a good acting school, because by getting into a school, then they can develop mentorship. They can develop a mentorship relationship with their teacher, and they can make friends with other people who are serious. If you're amused, and again, that will keep you around. It's all about the laws of association. It's who you hang out with, and it's the situations that you put yourself in are going to be related to the people that you're hanging around with. If you have, and it's just like us as parents, we want to know who are friends with our kids, who our kids' friends are. If you see who your kids' friends are, then you see who your kid's becoming, because you might not even really know your own kid, right? But if you know their friends, then you know the kid, right? So it's the same with when you're breaking into any business, but especially the entertainment business, because a lot of the talent pool is young talent, and that's where, again, I want to really focus in. My goal in making these movies is in terms of the subject matter and the message that we're bringing forth. Let's get some young actors in situations where they're positive role models. Let's get some young actors in situations where they can shine. I mean, instead of, I love Scorsese, but why make another movie with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino? I mean, why do that? What's the, and spend $100 million doing it? For $100 million, I can make 100 movies for $1 million each that are better than the other one that costs $100 million. I'm telling you that right now. And Scorsese, I want you to listen to me, okay? Because I can do it, right? Take that, let's make 100 movies. Let's get 100 hot young directors in here, right? And let's get 1,000 hot young stars, and let's get them going, right? Because that's what's necessary.
Yeah, great idea.
Why not get these old actors intermixed? a little bit more with these young new actors.
I'm not don't get me wrong. I'm not. I love Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, my favorite actors of all time, but I don't need to see another movie. I got it.
I know you got it. Just give Henning $1 million and he will make a movie. No, but they're good movies. They're good quality, and the mission is to inspire the young people because they're our future. They're going to take care of us. Now, do we want to feed their brains with these things that are negative and they're not going to really take care of us? Or do we want to inspire them with good things so that they are inspired to take care of us as we get older and take care of their children? Well, and that's what we have to do.
Absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement with that. As far as mentorship, and again, seeking out, keeping away from the people that are going to do you harm, it's about laws of association. Who are your friends? Okay. If you're getting involved in a music business, find a really excellent music producer and start with Drew Lane. That's what I would say. Any musician coming to LA, start with Drew Lane. Call me. If you want to, at least he'll say hello to you. Okay. And he'll recommend people. Drew has probably 50 mentees that he's mentored through the years that will gladly take you on and be your mentor. And it's in their interest to do it because that's where they're pulling their talent from. You have to pull your talent from some resource, right? And by being Drew is a mentor to so many people, but he gets all the good talent because he's a mentor to all these people. And then we can recommend the right ones. So I would love to be more involved. And as you said, I can't make every movie, I can't make every song, but I have the desire to connect people with the right people who are doing the right thing. And then by doing that, you stay away from the seedy element. It doesn't mean that misfortune cannot cross your path. It just means that you're putting yourself in a situation for success. It's the laws of association. It's who you hang out with. Who are your friends? Who are the people you spend the most time with? And those are the people that are going to have the most influence, and they're going to have good people around them if it's in the positive. And if you're hanging out with the wrong kind of people, they'll have the wrong kind of people around them. And then you just put yourself in a situation where the dark side of our nature, rears its ugly head. And that's where people get in trouble. So it's it's another hard subject to talk about, but the solution really is for parents and for young talent is to seek out that mentorship. That's where it starts. That's the beginning. Film schools and are also a good place. Music schools, any place where you can get around older people who can bring you along. That are reputable. You're going to be in much better shape rather than just trying to go it alone or just trying to figure it out on your own and get discovered type of thing.
Well, and there's some right ways, but yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
I just want to share also one thing about what's unique about our films is that, as teenagers, we do make mistakes, right? We do make poor decisions. And so through our poor decisions, we learn how to make better decisions. And that's what Henning does in his films. It's like, it's okay. We don't shame and blame. We actually teach youth how they can actually make better decisions. So that's really an amazing distinction in our films. It's like, it's okay to make poor choices, hanging out with the wrong people, but then, let's, make them more aware of how you can become successful. So that is really what's really important about our films. Is like teenagers, youth will be youth. That's part of growing up. That's a part of learning how to make better decisions. I just wanted to share that.
That's a great point, Michelle, because a lot of times, with these young people, they think they make one mistake and then it's over. And that's not the case. That's what I thought. I thought my life's over. I can't do this anymore. So that's it. There's nothing else, because we see things more black and white. We don't see the bigger picture when we're kids. And even in Ann Hero, the kid says, Bobby is the mentor character. Says, Bobby got me thinking. And then the other kid says, what do you care what he thinks, right? Because that's what a kid would say, right? And then he says, well, he's got me thinking about the bigger picture. He says, the bigger picture? What the hell are you talking about, man? Are you some kind of... So the guy's like, they don't understand even what the guy's talking about, right? And so it's these conversations that happen. And yeah, you made a mistake or something happened. Now what are you going to do? You messed it up. What now? Now what? What's your next step? What's your next step? Because it's up to you. It's up to you to make that decision. It's up to you to take action. What are you going to do about it? Because no one's going to come here and rescue you. No. You got to rescue yourself. And if you have that attitude, it's amazing how many people want to help you. See, because as soon as you open up and say, hey, you know what? I need some help. They come. But as soon as but when you're stuck in that place, like, oh, woe is me, all this happened to me, and it's bad luck, it's bad circumstances, and I got no way out. It's amazing how alone you can be, and it's up to the mentor, it's up to the conscious person to look at that, at that situation and say, man, this kid needs a little bit of help here. If I just maybe stepped in here and just gave him a little something, right? If I gave him a little something, maybe I could make a difference. And that's what Michelle is talking about. That's what these movies are. They're like, you made a mistake. Okay, well, now what? And no one helps you. You'll notice that in these movies, nobody helps you if you're not trying to help yourself. They leave you alone, and you have to be miserable. In Hit or Twist, I wish you guys could see this movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long now. And that's the first one. There's another one. There's another 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's
wow.
4.5 hour movie, right? This poor kid, Tiago, he can't get out of his own way. He's got every misfortune happen to him one after the other until finally he realizes, hey, I need some help here. And then boom.
Why can't we break this into a mini series, like, so that people want to binge watch it, they can, but break it out into a mini series. Like right now I'm watching something and I'm just watching it in little chunks whenever I get a chance. But one of the things I want to share with especially all the young kids who aspire to be in this industry, make sure that you reach out, network in the right way. Like I met Henning at a film festival. So if you want to be in this, go out and look at the events that exist, right? That's where I met Henning. Also, Henning has a tribe. He also has Rev Share Films. Get connected. Connect with him that way. Learn what they're doing in their tribe. Ask if you can talk to some of the actors and actresses and find out what they recommend, right? Not everybody's going to be a star for Henning's film, but I'm sure Henning is open to directing people to the right direction. His tribe is definitely big enough for anyone to join in and participate. You might get there and go, you know what, this is great. These are wonderful people, but this is just not quite right for me. But do it, because this is already healthy. We already know that Henning's safe. I don't know about all the other directors out there. I've interviewed a few.
There are a lot of good ones.
But I've worked with Henning. I know that when you go, he's going to make sure everybody eats. I think I sat and ate more food that day than I had in months. Right. And but he's going to make sure that there's plenty of hydration.
One thing I learned about working with teenagers, you got to feed them. Otherwise,
no, you definitely have to feed them. There's no doubt about that.
He's so mature, but he's only 17, right? So he says to me, man, he's such a nice kid. He would never ask. He says, man, I really wish I could have a hamburger right now. We're in the middle of the hills, Hollywood Hills in the woods, right? He wants a hamburger. And we got snacks, we got fruit, and we got like healthy food, right? He's like, man, I really need a hamburger. I'm like, go run down the hill, let's get him. So I left set and went down the hill, and went through In-N-Out drive-through against all my better judgment, right? Feed the kid, right? And Michelle knows this because she's responsible when she comes. She caters, she sponsors and caters the sets and whatnot. It's a cool thing. But let me tell you this, and again, on the bright side, there are so many great young directors that are new directors, I should say, that are making stuff happen. Kids, and this is one of the reasons why we love this platform, Rev Share Films, which is coming on the scene, because we're able to put films on this platform that people wouldn't see normally, and it's a mentorship process where I can help some of these young directors get on the platform. But that's where, once we get this thing really cranking, then we can say, okay, you're an actor, you're a musician, you have talent, you want to get connected. These are the good guys. These are the ones, and the people who are making movies, who are producing movies, especially these kind of movies, they just want to create art. They're artists. They're tapping into the positive creative force. They're not destructive people. They're good people. And that's where, you mentioned also, Kimberly, about the festivals. And again, I don't want to get back into this area because I will not stop. I can go all day and continue. These film festivals are have to open. You've got people who are creative have to be able to have an outlet. There you go. There's a film festival.
Well, no, this is a different one, but the film festivals are important.
Because that's where hold on a second, Mark. I'll just take a break here in a second, but that's where, again, you have the people who run the panels and the people who are making movies, the film students. That's where they go. That's where they go to bring their little movie, or that's where they go to learn, or they sit in a panel. It's so positive and constructive. It's magical what happens at these festivals, and to have that not be an asset for people right now is a crying shame. So the film festivals also, when they get going again, which they will, are other places to find mentorship and to get around the good ones. And there are a lot of them. There are a lot of really good directors, older, younger, doesn't matter. But they don't have agendas. They don't have an ultimate. They don't have another objective except to make great art. They just want to make their art, and they're such cool people. And the students that come, they come to the panels, and I've sat on panels, limited amount of times, and you see that they got their notepads, and then they're ready to go, and they stop you at the end, they ask you questions, and it's a fantastic. And Mark knows this is his world. It's a fantastic place to be. But it's all the same concept. If you notice, it's all the same. It all comes back to the same place. Seek out mentorship, seek out coaching, be around other positive people, and physically be with them. Physically be with them.
Right.
No more of this Zoom stuff. Physically be with your teachers and your mentors. That physical connection is so important. And whatever we can do, whatever we have to do reasonably and logically and safely to get back there, we should do it, because every day that goes by where we're limited in that sense is adversely affecting us. Whether there seems to be a good reason or not, it's an issue that needs to be resolved, and it's the most urgent and pressing issue in our modern world today. On September 1st, 2020, it is the most important thing. Getting people back together. Okay,
that's right. Back together.
That's it. I'm off the soapbox.
All right.
No, I'm so glad you get on it, because I like it when you get into it.
It's great when Henny gets on the soapbox. I might get on the soapbox as well. Henny will be glad to know that certain movie theaters, like he said, are opening up. I am actually involved in the movie industry on a different level, in the sense of being on the board of a major theater here in Durham. I know that we're about to have limited openings. Some of the theaters will be opening at small capacity. They will not be at full capacity, unfortunately. So like I said, I know they might be opening very nearly at a very limited capacity in the theater, but that's at least the first step toward opening. We're also seeing, as I know y'all are in the West Coast, the rise again of drive-in theaters. So that's how they are getting people engaged. They're bringing them in through the drive-in theater model. So definitely things are going in that way. I also want to give a shout out, because you mentioned some of the West Coast folks, and we've got some folks that are doing some powerful things here on the East Coast as well, in the film and television industry, and just in entertainment in general. So one of those is Spirit House. Henny, if you don't know Spirit House, look them up, because they're doing a lot of stuff in the area. Spirit House does a lot of work with folks. They're actually, some of these new murals that are coming up, it's some of their kids that were doing those murals throughout the Triangle. And then Aduke Aruma, who is in Atlanta area, she has the Princess Chronicles. So she's doing a number of things in Atlanta. Maya Table, who is a young filmmaker, is also in Atlanta. And then there's a good friend of mine, Cayenne Pepper, who comes out of the whole kind of reggae culture and things of that nature. He's got a film that I know Kim would like, because the film, well, not so much Kim, but definitely one of our other people, Jeff Axton, would love, because he's got a film called The Herb Train. So it talks about how he got involved in certain things, but he got out of that and is now trying to create some very positive messages about some of the things that he went through when he was involved in some of the negative aspects of life. So he's got a film very similar to yours, and it's on the festival circuit. Is doing a lot on the festival circuit. As a matter of fact, I've got to finish helping write a press release for him, because he just got to be nominated for an award at one of these festivals. So Henning is absolutely correct. Festivals are very important. I am a big fan of the festival circuit. I've actually curated some festivals. But that being said, I'm going to wrap everything up in terms of my comments. But I did curate a festival, so I'm a big fan of the festivals. I wish that we would go back to the live ones instead of the virtual ones, because right now we're on virtual festival circuit. So that's just a little bit about some of the folks that you may be interested in.
Thank you, Mark.
I took down all those notes, and I echo your sentiment. Thanks for sharing that. We're going to definitely connect up with those people, and we'll bring them on the platform as fast as we can as well. We want to bring all kinds of really positive media onto the platform. And I'm going to invite you guys to come on a movie night tomorrow night, because we're going to show behind the scenes footage from Anhero, from our film shoot. It is really cool. It is really cool how we're doing this movie. Like, people in the movie business are just shaking their heads like, this is impossible. He's not doing this. And it is true. It is true. We're going to show you live. And then also we have a couple of great speakers, and we're going to show you probably one clip from Hit or Twist. So, and Michelle, can you make sure everyone knows how to get on tomorrow? And Michelle can carry on. If you have time, Michelle, you can carry on and answer any other questions on the movie.
Put the banner of the Zoom link if you don't mind. And also, I want to tell people, if you dial in early, which I highly recommend, you get to listen to some really cool music usually. And if you get there late, you can always go to Henning's Facebook and watch it. And then you can text in your comments and support the tribe and the mission. But here's what's amazing. Henning's making movies happen during a time when everyone else gave up. And this is inspiration in itself, that we can get back to living. We don't have to sit around feeling sorry for ourselves. Right, Henning?
Well, no, you absolutely should not. The last thing to do is sit around feeling sorry for yourself. If you're sitting around, and those thoughts come to mind, reach out for help. Yeah. We make light of it, but just reach out, talk to somebody. To somebody, and get into action. Get back into action and emotion. I swear this past couple of days, really for me, I haven't worked harder. I really shouldn't have been probably working that hard. I start at 6 a.m. and go to 3 a.m. It's too much, right? But I was so passionate about doing it because everyone was so into it, right? So I would say, let's just do it, right? And it's fun. And in the end, you create something. And those of you who are in a creative space, in the end, you're creating something. It's positive. It's good. It's helping people. If you can make somebody laugh, if you can make somebody think, if you can make somebody wonder, if you can make somebody question the things that are going on, man, you've accomplished something. And by getting into action, you'll feel better, and you won't have that sense of helplessness. So get in communication with somebody, get in action, and that's going to be your solution for your next level of happiness on this spinning planet. So, Michelle, I got to run. I was only going to be half hour, but I want to make sure that I finished up what I wanted to say. But come on, movie night. The link is in the chat there. Come on early. We'll play you some songs and we'll have fun. It's a fun, entertaining, interesting night, and we're going to be doing it live from Beverly Hills. So we have a studio audience, and it's going to be a real show this time, you know. And if you want to be part of that, let us know. We need to interview you, Kimberly. We need to interview Mark. We need to interview Nick. And you guys need to be coming on as interviewees on our show the way we come on yours, and we need to get you guys promoted out there as well. So Michelle can give you any more details as long as you can stay.
Henny, before you jump off, I do have to add one real quick thing, and this is for everybody on the panel, but this is a very important issue. You know, one of the shows I do is the online dinner party, and that's the one tomorrow afternoon. At the beginning of that show, you're talking about the other issues that are out there that are important for us to deal with. We know that we lost the great Chadwick Boseman, the actor of the Black Panther and everything. He died of colon cancer. I've got Dr. Fola May, one of your West Coast people, a doctor from UCLA, and she's going to be talking about the importance of colon cancer screenings and all of that, but particularly in...
Uh-oh.
Did he freeze up?
He froze. I know you have to leave. I know you have to leave, so we'll see you soon.
No, I want to know more about that, Mark. And please, let's say we're in communication, so let's just keep the ball rolling. Whatever I can do to help you guys, I'm here to do it. Just reach out, and now we got our tribe getting more involved. Let us know. Thanks, guys.
All right, and we'll thank you. Okay, bye, Henny.
Bye for now.
All right, Michelle, you got something you needed to share with us?
We went ahead and put it on the thing, but it's ffmovienight.com. That's how you would register for our Wednesday night movies, and it's in the scroll bar. So,
All right. Anything else you'd like to share?
I'm just, as I said, I think right now what the movies that we are creating, it's really impactful. And for the next couple of weeks, actually next week is Suicide Prevention Week. So we will, not on Wednesday night, we will really be having some guest speakers who are going to be talking about, just suicide prevention in youth and so forth. So we're going into a week where it's really about awareness, and that's how people, things change, is through awareness. So I just want to thank you, and truly grateful that you allow us to, come on IBM TV and just share our thoughts and ideas of just, how we can make an impact, especially when it comes to you.
Well, thank you very much. And I think we're going to have to wrap up. Our boss is here. Nick, you want to wrap?
Where's the boss?
You.
Oh,
That would be
Lord.
you.
Okay, we're
That
in
would
deep
be
trouble.
you.
We're in deep trouble here, aren't we? At IBM TV.
Well, Ankit will handle the.
Yeah, see, Ankit knows how to do everything.
All
I don't
right,
like people
Ankit,
asking me how
wrap
to
up
do
for
this
us,
stuff.
please.
Yeah,
Thank
Ankit
you
knows
for joining
that.
us on Celeb Tuesday, and it was Handing Our apart from Celeb Tuesday, and that's what we do on Tuesdays. Discuss about rev share movies in Hollywood, and we have Michelle discussing about rev share films as well. So do join us on Wednesday on Hanning's Zoom call, or maybe you can join on Hanning's Facebook profile as well, or the link is right on the ticker. You can join on that link as well. And thank you for watching us. It's time to wrap, and have a good day. Take care, and see you soon right here.